Welcome to fifth grade, you lucky fourth graders. We can't wait to meet you. This is our first fifth grade meeting. I am Mrs. Brennan.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Polipsky.
And I am Mr. Brooks.
And of course, you know, there's 4 fifth grade teachers, so there's somebody not here. Miss Redmond's on maternity leave, but she will be back in January. And until then, we have a wonderful replacement for you. And you guys are going to have it's going to be a great fit. And we're looking forward to a good year.
And what's pretty cool about that is we consider ourselves a community in fifth grade. So we say this is our first fifth grade meeting. It's not the way we hoped it would be. But in fifth grade, we do a lot of things together. We tend to get together a lot. So even though you might have one of us as your homeroom teacher, you'll be seeing all of us throughout the year. And we like to look out for each other. We help each other out. And that's what we do up in fifth grade.
We like to say you have four teachers in fifth grade. Lucky you.
Yeah,
four
absolutely.
Teachers.
Definitely. And, you know, one of the coolest things about being in fifth grade is being on that 3rd floor, right? And being all the way up in, what do we call it? The penthouse, right?
The penthouse, baby.
Yeah. What's, we were talking about this a while ago. What's your favorite part, Mrs. Polipsky and Mrs. Brennan, about being up on the 3rd floor?
I love that we get to pop in on each other.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes Mr. Brooks will come in and make a joke in the middle of a lesson and distract everybody. No, just sometimes we can share things with each other. We can celebrate with each other, and it's a real community. That's my favorite part of being upstairs.
I like the fact that we're on the floor by ourselves, so we can really do anything we want and not get in trouble for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, it's, you know, after a whole summer's worth of eating a lot of food and not doing a lot of exercise, walking up those 3 flights of stairs every day a few times is going to get me back in shape. So that's,
you know, at least there's a pool on the 3rd floor.
That's a good point.
Don't know that yet, guys. That was a secret.
There's no pool, guys. We promise.
Sorry.
The elevator has not been built yet, so don't worry.
Okay.
Now, I guess we should talk about, in 5th grade, we do a little learning, right? We do kind of do some work.
We do a lot of learning.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me kick it off with math and talk about how we have such great things going on next year when it comes to math. We know how much hard work you've been putting in previous years, this year in 4th grade and earlier years in 3rd, 2nd, and 1st grade. And what we like to do in 5th grade is take what you've learned and really grow it. You know, we know you've done a little bit of multiplication and division before, but now what we are going to do is kind of expand upon it and extend it. And one of the ways we do that is look into the wide world of decimals. So much fun. I love decimals so much. And after that, or, you know, right around the same time, we also start talking about fractions, and we kind of learn everything we need to do with them, whether it's adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, comparing. We do it all in 5th grade. And then we also take a look at measurement in converting, it could be grams to liters to meters, all the metric system, the customary system, all of this different really cool things that you're going to need to know for your everyday life. And then we also round out the year with a little bit of algebra here and there and some volume, you know, learning how to figure out the space inside a figure, which is really cool too. So we have some really exciting math things going on next year.
I like what you said about real world problems. I feel like we emphasize in math, like real world connections, like how is this useful in the real world? And I think that's really important. We need fractions. We need decimals heading into life. So it's all really important stuff. I mean, come on, money, baking.
Yeah. I love money.
I know for me, I mean, I'm in the supermarket, and anyone who knows Mr. Brooks knows I'm not a great cook. You know, I when I get the stuff I need, I'm good. But going to the supermarket and trying to make sure I'm buying the right things, being able to convert helps me out, knowing how much I need of this and that. So it's huge. So I think it's a really helpful thing to learn this stuff now.
And I like to spend a lot of money, so this helps me out a lot because I enjoy spending money.
So
I love that unit.
Students, whoever you may be next year, do me a favor and help her out. She has a problem, but she won't admit it yet.
All right. So we talked about math. How about any readers out there? I heard there's a lot of 4th grade readers coming up. I love reading. So reading and writing next year is going to be lots of fun too. So we start off the year by reading fiction books, but we're reading a little more complex books where there's a lot of interpretation going on. So we're going to be interpreting complex themes, things like that. We're going to be working in book clubs. And at the same time, we're going to be writing stories. We're going to be writing narratives, small moments from your life. But the difference is we're going to go a little deeper. We're going to look at, we're going to write memoirs where we really have a learning experience. What have we learned from these small moments in our life? What can we take with us? From that, we head on to nonfiction. I know some of you love reading nonfiction. So we're going to be studying nonfiction topics in depth and writing informational. So I know last year we did lots of different kinds of informational writing. Some of us wrote articles in our classes. Some of us published like small books with chapters. Then we moved to argument essays, and I don't know how many of you enjoy it, but we love the argument unit because we're reading nonfiction, we're reading articles on topics, but we're really studying both sides, analyzing both sides. And then the best part about that is we get to debate a lot. We get to debate issues.
Can I interrupt you for 1 minute? Because what's cool about this unit is the things that you are studying are important. It's not just like busy work. It's real life issues that people struggle with and deal with that you'll be handling because you're mature enough in 5th grade, we think, that you can do that. So there's really, really cool issues that are going to really make you think. Yeah,
love the debates. They always get a little bit heated, but they're lots of fun, and we learn a lot from them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't learn a thing. What do you mean? I don't like to argue with anybody.
All right, we're not an argument unit right now. Time out. We're not an argument unit. Okay, from there we go to historical fiction, which is one of the best units for the whole year. So we get to read stories from historical fiction stories from World War II time period, which is a really fascinating time in our world's history. So we'll be reading lots of stories. We'll be doing book clubs, and then it's a fascinating time. And we're really going to be making a lot of connections, like what can we learn from that time period, and how could that apply to our life today? After that, sometimes we do a little bit of test prep, just a little bit of test prep, because everybody needs a little bit of test prep sometimes. And at the end of the year, we have lots of fun reading fantasy and writing fantasy, which is always lots of fun. Again, with the focus on what can we learn from fantasy, just like what can we learn from all of these units, like how is it important to our lives?
Great. Which unit would you say is your favorite, Ms. Polipsky?
Ooh, it's a toss-up. I love historical fiction because there's so many good stories and so many good characters, and I love argument and debate. Those would be my top 2.
What about you, Mr. Brooks?
I have to agree. It's a really hard pick between the two. I think if I was forced to, historical fiction is my 100% favorite. I love the ability to kind of read these stories, but also learn about what actually happened back in that time frame. And it gives me a better understanding of, the current day's world, and it's just really enjoyable to me.
Did we tell them what? Mine's historical fiction too. Okay. I love that unit. Did we tell them what time period we're studying?
I don't know if we did.
World War II time period.
Yeah, the Holocaust, World War II, and we go beyond that in some classes, and we have just so much interesting conversations with that unit that I think it's such a great unit.
Absolutely.
How about science, Mrs. Brennan? What do we do in science this year?
So for science this year, we like to do a lot of hands-on experiments. We start the year off with recycling because you'll learn later are going to become the school's recyclers. So we learn about recycling, how it affects our environment, all environmental issues. And in that unit, we also go into passion projects where you're going to be finding something that you're passionate about that you want to make a change in. And you're going to be creating on your own project that you're hoping will create change. Mr. Brooks, did you want to talk a little bit about some of the ones you saw last year from the kids?
Oh my gosh, some of those 5th graders this year did some incredible things. I mean, they would take materials that I would never expect to ever be reused again, and they would combine them and put them together. And I mean, they would create like carnival games and other things that would be so useful in today's life. There's a show, I forget what it's called, I think like Hack My Life or something like that, where they show you like different things you can do to make your life easier by just using things that you never knew you could. And it's like we had our own Washington version of that. It was so cool and so much fun to watch you guys do it.
And what was also cool is a lot of kids also thought beyond the environment, and they thought about Summit or things they can do to help people around them. And we had a lot of like, right, Ms. Klipsky, like food.
I was going to say, I'm sure these fourth graders were aware of it because they heard some morning announcements of some of these projects going on. Some of them were participating in it just by like, donating items or whatever it was. I mean, these were pretty public last year. And so I think just that was pretty exciting that the whole school knew about some of these projects.
Yeah, so that's going to happen. Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
The whole idea is, and I know you and Mrs. Redmond really preached a lot of creativity there and thinking outside the box. You could kind of resort to doing the standard like bake sale or something like that, where you can help out and make a difference. Or you can really start to think outside the box and do some things that you may not think, oh my gosh, wow, this is a great idea. Why haven't I thought about this before?
Right.
So I love how you empower our students to allow them to come up with these ideas and run with it. It's so much fun.
And next year, you guys can do that.
I'm sensing a theme. I feel like a lot of the fifth grade stuff we're talking about involves a lot of maturity, being able to debate issues and talk nicely, being able to take on a passion project, being able to recycle. These are all really mature things.
Yeah.
So we're expecting a lot of maturity next year.
Absolutely.
So coming off of that unit, we then go into properties of matter, where we do a lot of hands-on learning about how different chemicals react with different substances. We try to identify different substances based on their reactions. We do a little mini heating and cooling unit inside that unit. And then from there, we learn a lot about the Earth and the atmosphere. So we learn about the solar system. We also learn about the inside of the Earth and rocks and minerals. And right now the kids are doing a bottle flipping activity. So a lot of just using the scientific method. And Mr. Brooks.
Sorry.
So a lot of the scientific method and the process. So we try to do a lot with your thinking and you actually physically doing the assignments. So I know that coming with STEM, the kind of like sister of STEM is social studies. So Mr. Brooks, you want to talk about that?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So social studies is such an exciting time for me when I teach it. I know every teacher loves it, and the students really get into it in fifth grade because we talk a lot about very important things that we need to know that we may not have known before. We talk about how the first inhabitants of the land that we currently live on came here, right? If you think about it, it's not like people just magically appeared. People traveled over here, and we're going to talk about how they traveled here, what they did to kind of set up their camps and make it so that it was their own. And then we're going to talk about how some other people came in and pushed all those people out, forced them out. And all of a sudden, that helped us become the United States of America. And I'm thinking to myself, this is such an important topic because, it's so important that we know where we came from as Americans. But at the same time, it's a little upsetting to really learn about how things happened and took place. And so we're going to really dive into a lot of those topics. It's really important to learn about the Native Americans and then what we call westward expansion, where the settlers came in and moved out west. And then we also zoom in on New Jersey and we talk about some of the Native American tribes that set up camp in this area. And we kind of zoom in on them and learn a little more about their environment and their beliefs, their traditions, their values. So we spend some time doing that. We touch on a little bit of current day's government, how our government was formed. I think that's so important for you guys to know and understand, especially when, we were not a land that we just decided, these are the rules. People had to create them and form them and decide how our government would be shaped. And it leads us to today. So it's really cool to see. And then I saved the two best for last. So first, I'm sure you've heard of BizTown. BizTown is so much fun. Basically, it's this place about 45 minutes away from Washington that we actually go and visit. And it's a giant town inside this building. And you guys run the town for the day. You have jobs, you have things you need to do, and it's so much fun.
Wait, hold on. They have jobs? Does that mean they get paid?
They do get paid.
What?
They get paid.
That's so
and
cool.
They actually have things they can buy at BizTown to take home with them with the money that they've earned. Yeah, it's so much fun and so cool.
So Mr. Brooks, is this unit then about, like, are you going to be teaching them how to manage their money in this unit?
Very good point. Yeah, I mean, we don't just go there. We have to spend a good 2 months beforehand learning all the ins and outs of what we call the economy And, we focus on financial literacy and learning about bank accounts and credit cards and debit cards. We talk about what Mrs. Brennan said in terms of managing money. That's so important to understand because you need to be smart with your business decisions. Otherwise, you may not get all that money. So
you spend a lot of time how the pieces of a community fit together, right? Because when you're at BizTown, you have to work and function like a community. So how do the different things interact with each other?
I mean, think of Summit, right? We have so many people who live in this town, but we have so many businesses in this town too. Everyone works together.
Yeah.
This is one of the biz towns of the world, right? So it's pretty exciting to go off of. And then this isn't necessarily specifically social studies, but I guess it's the closest to it. But I'm sure you guys remember, it didn't happen this year, unfortunately, but last year, going to the gym and seeing all of these fifth graders creating their own ideas and turning them into products that they actually sold to you guys. I mean, do you remember selling? Do you remember buying anything? Do you guys remember anything that our friends did at Trump?
Yeah, I remember. Remember this was around Christmas time or holiday season. So I remember one of my students made some kind. I think a lot of you bought this. It was the shooter. It was made of a tube, and it shot things out. I think a lot of them had slime.
I was going to say slime. I remember homemade wiffle ball bats, decorated wiffle ball bats.
Someone made wiffle ball bats. I remember someone, I think, made their own little like foosball tables or something like that. Really cool. So the idea behind this, it's called TREPS. And TREPS is short for entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people who go out there, come up with an idea and turn it into a business. They start to sell things. And so you're going to learn about all the details with that, how to come up with an idea, what to do to market your product, how to advertise for it, how to set a price. We're going to go over all of that. And then the best part about it is you guys actually get to make and sell your products. And the money is real. It's real money. And you get to take some of that home. So cool. You act just like a business owner would. And then I think on top of that, to me, the most special part about this is we take some of the money that we earn and we donate it to charity. And it's such a great way to learn about business, but also helping out our communities as well, which I think is so awesome.
And I think we, if I remember, I think they raised over thousands of dollars to give to the charities alone, which was really exciting. So we all get to pick the charities, and you get to decide which one of the ones that we pick you actually want your money to go to.
Sure.
Talk about making a difference. That's a really big deal. That's important.
Absolutely. And it's really up to you guys as students and how much money you're going to make. You know, it's up to how much product you make, what you set your price at. It could be something like a great idea, but if you set your price too high, not many people may buy it, and then you're not making the money. So it's really important to think in a business mindset, which we're going to teach you all about in fifth grade.
And I heard a lot of like mature language from you, Mr. Brooks, just now about social studies. I think you said like economy liter. I don't even know what the words meant. Like a lot of maturity again that was coming out of you, and the handling the money, the being an entrepreneur. That's a big deal. So again, that's you, Ms. Polipsky.
Coming in fifth grade, there's a lot of added responsibility. We do expect maturity, but we also expect, like we like to say, you're the head honchos of the school. People are looking up to you. Little kids are looking up to you. Teachers are looking up to you. Dr. Banker's looking up to you. So you have some extra responsibilities in fifth grade. You might know about some of these, but let's go through them. In fifth grade, you get to do lunch duty.
Yes, that's where Mr. Brooks, Mrs. Brennan, Ms. Polipsky, Mrs. Redmond, we all give the fifth graders our lunch orders, and they have to go out and buy food. No. Lunch duty. We can make it up. We could just totally change what lunch duty is.
No.
All right, I'm looking for a hamburger and fries on the first day of school.
I want Pizza Vita.
Okay.
I love pizza. I'm missing my Pizza Vita.
All right, so lunch duty is when the fifth graders help out. It's like a real job. Fifth graders help out in the cafeteria. You have to help make sure people have everything they need at their seats, so everybody's not getting up all the time. You have to help line the students up and dismiss them, in an orderly way. I know that, you've been in that position. You've seen the fifth graders there. Now is your turn. Everybody's gonna have a chance to do lunch duty. Everybody's gonna have a chance. You want to do it the whole year. You'll have a week, maybe 2 weeks to do it. You only have to do one recess. So everybody, no matter what, will always have one recess to go play outside. But that's, it's an important job, but it helps our cafeteria run smoothly. It helps all the other grades.
And
Another big,
important to, I was going to say on lunch duty, when it comes to that, we know how busy some of your schedules can be, whether it be with band or orchestra, whether it be Battle of the Books or something with Mrs. Sadow. And so we understand that things are busy, but part of the responsibility of having lunch duty is also looking in on that and saying, all right, well, if I can't make lunch duty today, I'm going to find someone to cover for me. You know, it's your responsibility to do that. So it's like a job in that if you can't make it, you find someone who can. So that's another added part to this that I think is so helpful for you as fifth graders to learn at this time.
But what I think is important, sorry, Ms. Klipsky, is what Mr. Brooks said. It's not if you don't want to do it, it's if you can't do it.
Correct.
It is a responsibility. It is a job that you're going to have to take on, and everyone survives it. Everyone gets through it, but it is one of the big things that as a fifth grader, the school needs from you.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing the school looks for fifth graders is, you know, there's Dear Tucker and Kindness Club, and those are really helping out all the other grades. So I know this past year, there were teams of kids that went out during recess to help organize games for some of the younger club, for some of the younger grades. There was also like Kindness Club coming up with solutions for common problems that kids were experiencing. And we take that very seriously. Mrs. Sadow will meet with you and honestly look for fifth graders to come up with solutions, to come up with games. She's not only looking for feedback, she's looking for fifth graders to help run these programs and to give input and make it happen. Yeah. So that's making a big difference in Washington School. Another thing we do is the fifth graders help recycle for the school. All those bins that you've had in your classrooms all these years that, you know, Mr. Maddie helps deal with, the way Mr. Maddie gets them is the fifth graders. They'll take a recess once every week and they'll go around to all the classrooms and they'll collect their recycling and make sure it gets, you know, sorted properly and back to the classroom empty. So our school can, you know, again, Mr. Maddie could not do that without us. It is too much work.
It's like twofold there, right? Mrs. Klipsky, you're helping out the school because Mr. Maddie can't do it all on his own, and you're cleaning up for them. And then you're also helping out the environment and recycling. And I think it's so awesome.
I'm seeing a lot of that common themes there. Speaking of responsibilities, should we talk about Chromebooks next year?
Sure.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely.
So I know you folks had Chromebooks this year, but next year the big difference is you'll probably get to take your Chromebooks home much sooner. And we know that's a really big responsibility because it means you have to use it only for school purposes, because it means that you're responsible to do the work that might have been assigned to you online.
Wait, Ms. Klipsky, does the Chromebook become theirs? Is it their Chromebook?
No, that's a really big deal. The Chromebook that they have will always be school property. And then the one that they get next year will be theirs up through 8th grade. So they can only, you know, use school property up through 8th grade. Right. So, you know, that means if you have practice after school, you can't just be throwing your backpack down with a Chromebook in it, because you need that Chromebook for the next couple of years. It's a really big responsibility. You have to bring it in every day, charged and ready to go. We're not going to have extra charges for you. You know, it's a big deal.
And school goes on no matter what. If you don't bring a charged Chromebook with you, you know, we have to figure out, you're going to have to figure out a way to make up that work and do that. And we understand things happen. Mistakes are made once or twice and you forget or something like that. But as long as you don't make it a routine and a habit of always forgetting, we'll be okay.
So I think the big word there is trust.
Yes.
We are trusting you with this Chromebook, and we do a lot of work on these Chromebooks. So we're hoping that we give you this trust that you could take it and show us that you could handle it.
So it sounds like we're expecting a lot of this crew, but I'm ready. I'm excited.
I am.
I heard great things about this crew. I think they can handle it.
Ooh, I can't wait to meet them all. Can't wait.
And, you know, we talked about all of these specific responsibilities that you had, and I agree, Mrs. Brennan. I heard it's such a great crew that is coming in. Every year is a different group of kids. And, you know, we know as fifth graders, you guys are not, you know, physically at the top of the building, but you're also, you know, at the top of the food chain, if you will, in all of Washington Elementary School, because you're the oldest students. So everyone, 1st through 4th grade, are all going to look up to you as the biggest kids in the school. And so it's important that whenever you're in the hallways, you're always following the rules that all of the teachers want. You know, you're quiet in the hallways, you're standing in line. And, you know, some years, unfortunately for us fifth grade teachers, we've had to remind the students over and over and over again. And it gets very frustrating. And it gets to the point where we have to do things differently because they can't handle these added responsibilities. But then we get some years where we have fifth graders that they know what to do and they handle it beautifully. All the ones that are younger than them are looking up to them. And I'm thinking that's going to be these guys next year. That's what
I think so.
Brooks, I agree with you, because what you all are doing right now,
Oh,
you know, when you got sent home in March and you're doing this virtual learning, you're doing something that none of us have ever gone through before. And from what we're hearing, you're handling it so well that I think your maturity level already is going to be above and beyond what we're hoping for. So
I 100% agree. 100%
these
agree.
young ones, they're going to need you guys as fifth graders to really show the way as we return to school, as we don't know what it'll look like exactly, but we know you guys are going to be there with us to help lead the way for all the rest of Washington, which we're really excited about.
Absolutely.
All right. Final thoughts for the summer?
One more thing.
Oh, go
I want
ahead.
you guys to know, we did talk a lot of business today, but we had so much fun on that third floor.
That's a good point.
You know, we do a lot of things together. Sometimes we prank each other. You know, Mr. Brooks does interrupt classes with jokes, and we're not that good.
Since you brought this up, I do just want to state for the record, we didn't get to celebrate April Fool's Day, my favorite holiday this year. So because we had to skip a year, just be ready. That's all I'm saying. Both of you and Mrs. Redmond, when she gets back, you all just be ready.
Don't worry, we'll figure some stuff out too. So we have a lot of fun. We just wanted to kind of give you the basics of fifth grade. We really look forward to meeting you. Ms. Plipsky, do you each want to say something?
Just final thoughts. I hope everybody has a wonderful summer. I think the best thing you could do to be ready for fifth grade is just try your best right now. And fourth grade strong. Read over the summer, have lots of outside time, you'll be ready.
I would have to say that I totally agree with that. I would have to say that as coming fifth graders, I think it's important to remember where you came from and your fourth grade, your third grade, your second and first grade teachers and everything they've instilled in you. And also the big themes that we've learned at Washington. And for me, it's all about what we've been learning this year and choosing happiness. And I wore the shirt today. Choose happiness. I want you all this summer to find some time and choose happiness. You know, whenever you're sitting around and you may be bored because you don't have much to do, you know, you have a choice right there. You can choose to kind of let that boredom sink in and let it take over you. Or you can choose to say, no, you know what? I'm going to try something new today. Or I'm going to reach out to this person and see what I can do with them. And you're going to choose ways to find happiness. It may not be the easiest thing to do, but it will be rewarding when you get it done. So choose happiness is my message.
I love that message. I'm going to piggyback off of Ms. Politsky. I just want to say, end the year how you want to start the year. You know, I know we're in the final stretch. You have like 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks left. Finish strong, because if you finish strong, you're going to feel good about yourself and you're going to start next year on that same foot. So don't give up right now. You're almost there. It's really hot out today, and
you can do it.
Hot. So it's almost summer, and you're almost done. Just push through, and then next year you'll be ready to go.
Wow, we can't wait to see you guys next year in fifth grade.
Yeah, super exciting. We can't wait to see you in person.
Enjoy your summer, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.